Chosen one. Now the whole world will be watching you shine. You've won big. Everything that was previously in your path has been removed. Every shutter door, every quiet time, every time they underestimated you. It all came to this. The world must pause and take note, because you are no longer concealed. You are no longer prepared. You are no longer waiting to be seated at the table. You are the table. The spotlight is now yours, not because you pleaded, not because you pushed it, but because you were always supposed to be in it. Stay with me to the very conclusion of the video, because this message is more than simply powerful. It is personal, prophetic, and infused with the energy to release what has already been growing inside you. As you watch the clip, leave your warmest wishes and 777 in the comments to send your message out into the cosmos. Allow your purpose to be felt not just by those around you, but also by the energy that created and supports you. The second paragraph of this message contains information on wishes coming true, how you are linked to the global flow of riches. But beyond that, its message is a powerful confirmation. You've already won, and now it is time to shine. Let the whole globe watch now. The chosen one. I like this video. If you have not already done so, subscribe to the channel. Let we begin. You see, your light was once purposely darkened, when the people who should have applauded for you turned away. Not because you were untalented or unworthy, but because your light challenged their darkness. You were a reminder of what they lacked the confidence to become, and so they attempted to shrink you. They sought to restrict your potential, but your spirit would not allow it. Something inside you always knew, there is more for me, and you were correct. This is the season for desires that are no longer whispered in the darkness. This is when they appear before your very eyes. Because you did not give up. Because you kept the course. Because you realized that every delay was not a refusal. It was a miraculous alignment. The cosmos is now imbued with your energy, the wish you formed in quiet and murmured in times of alone. It's making its way back to you, multiplied and picked one. This is your time. People around you may seem astonished, but heaven is not. The divine is not surprised by your emergence. In fact, it is overdue. The road was never meant to prove oneself to them. It was about preparing yourself for what you already had. The winner was not chosen at random. It's not luck. It's not a stroke of luck. It is the outcome of every invisible choice you made when no one was applauding. The outcome of your discipline, alignment, trust, and reluctance to give up. This victory is what occurs when fate decides it's your time. They attempted to ignore you, but now they can't escape you. The same people who questioned you will be forced to see what occurs when a soul remains true to their objective. Your radiance is blinding. Your energy is magnetic. You don't have to pursue anymore. The world is now coming to you. Opportune. Titties symbolize acknowledgement, richness, and clarity. They're all making their way towards you. Not because you're working harder, but because you're in sync. You've gone from hustle to flow, from pressure to presence, from attempting to get noticed to just being unmistakable. Nobody can dim the holy brilliance that shines on your life. You do not require permission. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. What you carry cannot be reproduced. What you are bringing into the world cannot be ignored. The season of concealment is over. The days of explaining oneself are over. You have been selected, and now you have been crowned. Your donation provides a source of inspiration and healing for many individuals. This victory is not about the world saying yes to you. It's about saying yes to yourself. You stopped waiting for permission and began claiming your area. That change, that internal determination, it unlocked something. And now you're exploring a new realm. One in which everything works for you. One in which even previous blunders serve as stepping stones. One in which the energy you release comes back to you as excess. This is what victory feels like. Not loud or frantic, but lovely, certain, unstoppable. The world is attracted to your radiance. It's not simply dazzling, it's also genuine. You did not fabricate. You did not force it. You fashioned it in the flames of your tribulations, and now the light is leading others. Whether you know it or not, you have become proof that change is possible. You become a live reminder that sorrow has a purpose and faith bears fruit. Your shine is more than simply personal. It is prophetic. You are carrying the flame for others who still believe they are stranded. You're demonstrating that nothing remains black forever. Your victory was seen in quiet by the invisible powers who accompany you. And now those forces have placed you on display. Not to brag, not to disparage, but to bless. You are a living testament, a miracle. And miracles cannot be disguised. Your time in the shadows honed the strength required for the stage. You do not feel overwhelmed by the brightness. You are the light. And now the world has to adapt to your frequency. You don't shrink any longer. You grow. You rise. You exemplify every victory. Your entrance was already prepared for you. It was only waiting for you to catch up to your own potential. There is nothing to fear now that you have arrived. There is nothing lacking. Everything you need is already within you. Everything around you is shifting to help your ascension. You're not chasing the wind anymore. You're the wind. When you enter a room, the energy transforms as you talk. The atmosphere is harmonious. You're no longer a spectator. You are in the spotlight. People who questioned you will soon wonder how you accomplished it. And the answer will be easy. I did not quit. That is it. You remained faithful. You moved even though you were terrified. You were trusting, even when it hurts. You believed, even when things didn't make sense. That kind of strength cannot be taught. It has been born through difficulties. And now that same force is permeating every aspect of your existence. Your financial situation, relationships, health, and creativity. They're all collecting the overflow of your success. The chosen one. You did not go this far only to be seen. You came to shine, and not just momentarily. Not for a moment, but as a legacy. The type of shine that lasts beyond trends. The type of radiance that jolts people awake. The type of brightness that cuts down generational barriers. That's who you are today. Not someone who wishes for light, but someone who is the light. The world is taking notice. Not because you yelled, but because you agreed. Because you flowed. Because you own it. What is occurring in your life right now is irrevocable. The floodgates have opened, and what is coming towards you cannot be stopped. It's larger than you expected. It is louder than they thought. It demonstrates how the cosmos reacts to sincerity, alignment, and trust in action. You've entered a frequency where blessings don't drip. They poured. With each step you take, the universe says yes. That is the one. That is the energy. This is the vibe we endorse. This is just the beginning of the brilliance. The breeze you've walked into is only the beginning of a larger narrative. One that does not need convincing anybody since the outcomes speak louder than any words. You are living proof that being selected does not imply life is easy. It indicates that life is in harmony. And when alignment meets divine timing, the world has no option but to observe. You've completed the task. You passed the exam, and now the prize is appearing. You see, the world does not always commemorate the birth of greatness. It often ignores, ridicules, and misunderstands it. Nevertheless, you continued to create. You continued to bloom in quiet, nourishing your vision while no one was applauding, strengthening your morale in the absence of applause. That kind of dedication is quite unusual. Things cannot be neglected indefinitely. The sheen you're walking in now is not surprising. It is a natural consequence of the fire you refuse to be burned by. You've outgrown the version of yourself that sought affirmation. The version of you who hid your intellect to make others feel at ease no longer exists. That version was essential. Yes, it helped you survive. But it's not the version the world needs right now. The current version of you rising is bolder, brighter, and more assured. You know who you are. You know what you're bringing. And you know this light isn't something you stumbled across. It is something you became. You turned into this radiance. By accepting the strain, you did not flee from the bad days. You evolved inside them. You did not collapse beneath the weight. You got stronger because of it. That strength is what the world sees now. Not only are you successful, but you're also spiritual. Not only did you win, but you also learn valuable lessons along the road. That's why your shine is distinct. It isn't polished. It's quite strong. It is not a transient situation. It is transcending. It talks even while you are mute. And now every movement you make echoes. Every word you say is magnified because you have transformed into a vibration. The world can no longer ignore you. The same people who previously questioned your path are now looking intently, trying to get a glimpse of your radiance. Some people are inspired. Some people are astonished. Some people even feel intimidated. But nobody can refute it. You have won, and the energy surrounding you has shifted irreversibly. You've gone from being underestimated to being memorable. You've entered a chapter of favor when doors open with your name already on them. You no longer need to justify why you deserve to be there. Simply show up and let your presence speak for itself. That is the level you are now functioning at, where your energy enters rooms before you, and where your legacy is being built. With each daring move you take. This isn't ego. This is evolution. You've earned the right to walk with confidence in who you are. What's impressive isn't simply the sheen. It is the fact that you did not let the darkness to destroy you. That is the portion that most people will struggle to comprehend. They will see the brightness but not feel the darkness. You wept silently. They won't notice the internal struggles you waged alone. But that's okay, because they were the times that solidified your resolve. Those moments were not squandered. They are entwined into your brilliance. They gave your radiance depth, soul strength, every time you questioned yourself yet decided to keep going. Those times were important. Every time you were rejected, you refused to let it define you. You developed every time you wanted to stop but recalled your goal. You climbed higher. That is what victory looks like behind the scenes. And now that the world has seen the findings, they will imagine it occurred overnight. But you know better. This radiance has been developing for many years. Years of faith, years of fire, years of unwavering conviction. Now, the energy you carry reflects that belief. It explains why you move, talk, and think differently. You have been renewed. You have been transformed. And now you emit the frequency of someone who has achieved alignment. It is well known over the globe, even if they cannot explain it. They just know something about you is different. Something about you is wonderful, and they are unable to look away. This is why you no longer need to seek what is rightfully yours. It's already on the way. Not because you desire it, but because you've evolved into a suitable candidate. That was the shift that transformed everything. You stopped begging the world for crumbs and began claiming your crown. You stopped looking for scraps and began walking like royalty. And now your reality is reorganizing itself to match that interaction. You have moved dimensions. You've changed timelines. You've unlocked a significant feature. And the longer you walk in this light, the more your past will seem like a separate existence. Because the person you are no longer embodies constraint. You are no longer open to struggle as an identity. You have improved, raised, and changed, and the benefits are beginning to show. The world is watching because your life is becoming a living message of not just achievement, but also surrender. Not merely accomplishment, but also alignment. People will inquire, how did you do it? And the solution will always be more in-depth than action. It will come back to intention, since you did not just modify what you did. You transformed who you were. You aligned your ideas, energies, and faith. You dropped the weight. You gave up the battle. You believed in something higher. And that was when everything changed. That is when the light burst through. What you have today is more than just a victory. It is a new identity. You aren't aiming to be picked. You've accepted it. You already are. That acceptance was what enabled the acceleration. You are no longer planning for someday. You're experiencing it in real time. Those who once laughed will now watch in silence. Those who went away will wish they remained. But this is not about vengeance. It is about revelation. The discovery of who you genuinely are and who you are is a journey that cannot be derailed. Not through failure, fear, or delay. You held the vision for long enough that it caught fire. And now the fire is devouring everything that attempted to keep you back. There is no going back to petty thinking or normal existence. Your radiance has made it impossible. You've outgrown the previous version of yourself, and the world is just now catching up. The prize you are walking into is lasting, since it is not only reliant on what you have done, it's based on who you've become. That version of you cannot be reversed, diminished, or halted. That's why the cosmos is forming divine connections. This is why resources flow so easily. That's why clarity appears without uncertainty. You have reached a new zone, chronology, and reality. So walk confidently today. Speak with authority. Move with power. You don't have to hunt for indicators anymore. You are the sign. You are living evidence that patience pays off. That alignment triggers blessings. That endurance produces miracles. You are proof that, no matter how long it takes, what is intended for you will never leave you. Not if you remain united. Not if you remain genuine. Let the whole world watch. Allow them to speak. Let them ponder. You have nothing to prove. There is only light to emit, and you're just getting started. This is the level you've attained. It is not a transient situation. It is not seasonal. It is not transient. It's a permanent elevation that was always intended for you. The delays were not rejections. These were heavenly calibrations. The opposition wasn't rejection. It was redirection. And now that you've arrived in this realm of abundance, calm, clarity, and unstoppable radiance, you'll realize how strong your presence actually is. Everything about you has a new vibe today. When you come into a room, the mood changes, not because you want to be noticed, but because your energy cannot be disguised. It is magnetic. It's luminous. It is sacrosanct. That radiance stems from more than just achievement. It stems from all you've endured. It stems from the nights you pulled yourself together when life was dragging you apart. It's from the storms you danced through and the flames you didn't let consume you. You are evidence that change is not just possible. It's unavoidable when you trust the process. You did not get here by skipping stages. You welcomed the turmoil. You remained steadfast in your faith even while the world around you fell apart. That's the thing they'll never quite get. Your brilliance has substance. It has depth. It has history. And that's why it's so clear now. The world is seeing someone who not only survived, but grew into a power. There is no need to describe how you got here. Your presence does that for you. Your elevation says words. Every benefit that is now coming into your life is a direct result of the effort you have done in quiet. The sacrifices are for soul restoration. Remember when you were your own cheerleader. You did not skip the procedure. You become the process. And now the benefits are arriving quicker, stronger, and louder. You've reached a point when your very existence is a breakthrough, and your lifestyle is starting to mirror your interior metamorphosis. What was once a dream is now a reality, and as you travel through it, it increases. You are no longer wandering in circles. You're walking in sync. There is no longer misunderstanding. No more stagnation. Only movement. Only elevation. Only the truth. This brightness did not result from perfection. It resulted from persistence. The rest of the world may see the finished product, but you know the journey. You already know the weight. You understand the expense. That's what makes this victory so significant. It was not given to you. You created it. You made it a reality by pure willpower, divine alignment, and a conviction that refused to die. Your victory is not the result of chance. It's the law of divine return, the law of energy, the rule of sowing and reaping. And you've had enough of sowing with tears. It's harvest season now. Let them watch. Let them ponder. Because what comes next in your life will put an end to all doubts. You've stepped into an overflow. So into comfort, into terrain you believed was just for others. But now you realize it was always intended for you. The difference today is that you have accepted your identity. You have stopped shrinking. You have quit second-guessing. You have recalled who you are. And that recollection has opened doors nobody can close.